Heartwarming Christmas Eve miracle, single dad discovers incredible truth about abandoned twin goldmine. Tom Thompson, a devoted single father, stood in the aisle of the Maplewood hardware store, heart racing as he wrapped spare twinkling lights for last-minute shoppers. The holiday season buzzed all around him, but his mind drifted to the memories of 2 Christmases ago, shouts of joy echoing through the house, the laughter of his spirited twins, Lucy and Ethan, dancing around the tree while their mother smiled with pride. A tight knot formed in his chest, the weight of his family's joy now rested squarely on his shoulders. Tom had sworn to create the best Christmas he could for Lucy and Ethan. He was working double shifts, minus the extra hours at the community church, where he taught about love and resilience. He could picture the gleam in their eyes when they opened their presents. But whispers danced through town, darkening the holiday spirit. Just when everything seemed to be going as planned, a stranger rolled into Maplewood. Jack, a scruffy veteran with a wild beard and a wary gaze. Rumors spun fast. Jack claimed to know something about the twins' estranged mother. Tom felt the community's distrust like a brick wall. How could he turn his back on someone in need? He knew too well how it felt to be all alone. But a father's loyalty tugged at his heart, conflicting feelings coiling inside him. He couldn't bear to see his children hurt, yet Jack looked as lost as he'd felt when he'd lost the love of his life. He chose to stand by Jack, trying to read the man's haunted eyes for signs of a shared humanity. As Christmas Eve approached, anticipation hung heavy in the air, until it shattered with a shocking revelation. Whispers funneled through the hardware store, distorted by suspicion and fear. Jack was more than just a bearded drifter. His connection to the twins unraveled Tom's understanding of family, a truth lurking beneath the surface, one filled with heartbreak, forgiveness, and bewilderment. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The townspeople gathered at the Maplewood Community Church for the annual dinner, warmth radiating from flickering lights as hopeful carols filled the air. Tom's heart raced. He felt trapped between the weight of tradition and the storm brewing in his chest. His children's laughter kissed his ears, reminding him of everything he held dear. Would he embrace the blessings of the season, or retreat into the safety of his unresolved fears? As he approached the threshold, his children's wide eyes sparkled with innocence, brimming with hope. Would this Christmas reveal a miraculous reunion, with lost pieces of their family falling back together? Or would it carve a rift, leaving them all on separate paths? Uncertain moments tinged the air, and Tom felt the finality of their intertwined fates lingering just out of reach. In this moment of chaos, he took a breath, ready to face whatever was waiting on the other side. Tom stepped inside the church, the warm glow enveloping him like an old sweater. Lucy and Ethan bounced on the balls of their feet, eager to break free and dive into the festivities. The sweet aroma of cinnamon and pine mixed with the laughter of families celebrating together. Yet, beneath the surface of joy, unease rolled in his stomach. Jack's revelation still lingered, a ghost weaving through the threads of their holiday. The church was splendidly adorned, decorations hanging richly from the ceiling. The familiar carols floated in the air, each note tugging at Tom's heart as he watched his children. They were so full of hope. But he couldn't shake the image of Jack's clouded face. Who was this man that could change everything? "Daddy! Look at the tree!" Ethan shouted, his high-pitched voice slicing through Tom's thoughts. He turned, watching as Ethan pointed at the towering pine, sparkling with ornaments of every shape and size. "Wow! It's beautiful!" Lucy chimed in, her eyes wide with enthusiasm, glowing brighter than the ornaments. Tom couldn't help but smile. Their joy was infectious. For a moment, he let the worries fade into the background. But just as quickly, the doubts crept back in. What if Jack was right? What if he had more to tell, taking a deep breath, Tom joined his children, brushing aside his fears for their sake. "Let us get some hot cocoa, okay?" They cheered, and together they navigated through the crowd, sharing hugs and greetings with old friends and neighbors. As they reached the corner table, the warmth of the cocoa made him relax, at least a little. But it wasn't long before a familiar figure emerged from the throng. "Jack." "Hey, Tom," he said, his voice low and gravelly. Everyone else had their backs turned, so only Tom and Jack stood in a small space between the decorations. "Jack, Tom fumbled for words, glancing nervously at his children. Jack looked different somehow, the scruffy edges of his demeanor softened by the holiday lights. But the weight of his past still clung to him. "I know I've put you in a tough spot," Jack's voice faltered, thick with emotion. "But I just want to talk to you about dinner. If you can spare a moment." Tom hesitated, 1,000 thoughts swirling inside him. Could he trust Jack? Was this just another messy thread about to unravel? He didn't want his kids to see him conflicted, but he felt that pull, that curiosity to uncover the truth. "All right," Tom finally agreed, nodding toward a quieter corner of the church. They stepped away from the lively chatter, hearts racing under the strain of what could unfold. Suddenly, the soft melody of a moving carol wrapped around them, illuminating the space between silence and anticipation. "I want to tell you the truth about their mother," Jack said, each word laced with gravity. Tom's mind raced at his words, each syllable like a door slowly creaking open. "What do you mean? You know something?" Jack's gaze hardened. "More than you imagine. But it's complicated. You need to understand this could change everything for you and your kids." The world around them dimmed. Tom's heart pounded as unthinkable possibilities began to unfold. Did he really want to dig into this? What if it shattered the fragile peace he'd built? Is she coming back? It was a question that slipped from his lips before he could stop it, a raw edge cutting through the warmth of the holiday spirit. Jack stared back, his eyes revealing a mix of hope and despair. "It's not what you think, Tom, and you need to brace yourself for what comes next." With that, the tension escalated, time slowing down as Tom stood on the brink of discovery. The night was wreathed in light, but all he could see was darkness ahead. The questions hung heavy in the air. Would he have the courage to face the truth? And perhaps more importantly, would his children still find joy in their Christmas, no matter what the next moments held? Tom stared at Jack, the weight of his words sinking deep into his chest. The bustling sounds of the merry crowd faded into a dull hum, consumed by the thudding of his own heartbeat. What truth awaited him? Could he handle it? His mind churned with questions that made his stomach knot tighter. "Jack, just tell me. What do you know?" His voice cracked, betraying the calm he desperately tried to maintain. Jack took a step closer, leaning in as if sharing a secret meant only for Tom. "Your wife, she didn't just leave, Tom. There's so much more to the story. It's about her past, about why she left." Tom's breaths came in quick succession, each inhalation steeped in dread. The flickering lights overhead pricked at his conscience, illuminating memories he had long tried to bury. He thought of the quiet evenings with Lucy and Ethan, their laughter warming the chill of loneliness he often felt. "I need to hear it all, Jack. I can't keep living in the shadows." "Okay," Jack nodded, the gravity of the moment fortifying his resolve. "But know this, it's not what you want to hear. She had her reasons, Tom. Things were happening that you never understood. Decisions that were made without you." The word decisions hung stagnant in the air. Tom's mind flickered back to the last day he saw her. The storm of emotions swirled. Anger, betrayal, but also an aching sadness that seemed to deepen as Jack's voice painted the picture he wasn't quite ready to see. "I've been trying to contact her. She didn't want to go, she had to, but she feels trapped by her past. Frightened. I know you don't understand," Jack paused, "but it's true." Trapped. The word echoed painfully. Tom could feel the world around him dimming, fading to gray as he tried to reconcile this new information with the memories he clung to. Tom, she thought you'd be better off. She thought, but that's not her choice to make. The words burst out of him, raw and angry, reverberating against the walls of the church. He caught the flicker of surprised glances from passers-by. This time of year, emotions run high. But you need to hear me. She loves your kids. More than anything. I promise you that. But there's a cycle, a reason she can't just return. I have a life here now, Tom said, clenching his fists. I'm raising them. She disappeared. She abandoned us. I could be done anything, but she chose to vanish. The confrontation stole the warmth from the room, leaving him outside in the cold. Jack's eyes softened with understanding, a deliberate stillness easing the tension around him. Maybe the choice is more complicated than you think. She is struggling with her past, Tom. But the truth may lead you to something unexpected. Unable to contain his nerves, Tom shifted uncomfortably, his heart hammering in his chest. Could this truth bring the very end of the fragile peace he created with his children? The nostalgic carols danced around them, reminding him of moments of joy, yet there was an impending storm on the horizon. Tell me, Jack, Tom urged, his voice cracking, what should I brace myself for? Jack hesitated, the weight of his own conflict revealing itself. You might find the answer in the unlikeliest of places. A distant laughter broke through the tension, reminding Tom of Lucy and Ethan. The twinkle of the light sparkled with memories of joy, but could happiness weather the storm of truth? Tom took a deep breath, determined not to let fear overshadow the magic of the night. Let us find a way to tell them together. Jack looked uncertain, but the gravity of the moment settled between them. As they stepped back towards the crowd, Tom couldn't shake the sensation that the night was just beginning. Ghosts of what had been and what could yet be danced in his mind, leaving his heart racing. What if the amazing truth about their mother was just around the corner? Would the revelations shatter their world, or could they lead to an unexpected kind of healing? Tom felt the cool night air pressing against his skin as they walked back into the thrumming heart of the festival. Colorful lights twinkled all around them, the cacophony of laughter and music swirling like a gentle invitation. But he couldn't shake the weight in his chest. Jack, Tom broke the silence that hung heavy between them. What does this mean for the kids? For me? Jack hesitated. He seemed to wrestle with his own thoughts. If we find her, he finally said, you might be able to piece this together. They deserve to know their mother's truth, even if it hurts. The thought rattled Tom. The kids adored their mother, even if they had never truly known her. Their glimpses of nostalgia were just shadows of an absence they couldn't comprehend. Would bringing her back now disrupt the fragile world he had built around them? As he lost himself in thought, he caught sight of Lucy and Ethan at the hot cocoa stand, their faces alight with glee as they sampled marshmallows and whipped cream. In that moment, his heart swelled, yet a pang of sorrow laced the joy. Tom! Lucy's gleeful voice broke him from his reverie. She bolted towards him, her cheeks rosy against the chill, melting a piece of the icy dread building within him. Can we get more marshmallows? Of course, sweetheart. Just don't overdo it, he responded softly, forcing a smile that felt just out of reach. Ethan ambled over, hands stuffed in his pockets, excitement bursting through his calm demeanor. Did you see that magician? He made a balloon dog that looked just like Rex. Tom knelt down, wrapping his arms around both kids, pulling them into a warm hug. Their laughter bounced off the walls of his heart, igniting the flicker of hope he dared to hold on to. Let us ride the Ferris wheel after this, okay? Tom suggested, trying to capture the spirit of the night despite the heaviness hanging over him. Awesome! Can we go higher than the stars? Lucy bubbled, her innocence shining through. Definitely, Tom replied, locking eyes with Jack over his children's heads. They shared an understanding and unspoken promise that they would face whatever lay ahead together. As they ordered their cocoa, Tom's mind raced ahead to the confrontation with Lucy's past, the unclarity of her uncertain return. What if she reappeared seeking something more than reconciliation? That magician guy, could he really make wishes come true? Ethan chimed in again, his bright eyes hopeful. Maybe, Tom said, but sometimes we have to make our own magic. Lucy leaned closer. Do you think Mom would like the festival? She loved snowflakes. Tom felt a lump rising in his throat. How could he explain to them about a mom who was missing more than just physically? Yeah, I believe she would. Even if she's not here now, she always wanted the best for you both. Jack watched quietly, his expression a mixture of sympathy and resolve. The truth was inching closer, pushing Tom into a corner, making it impossible to ignore. Look, I'll help you find her, Tom. And when the time comes, we can find a way to talk to the kids together. Tom nodded, the flicker of determination igniting within him again. This was about more than just him, this was for Lucy and Ethan. They had the right to know their mother and every piece of her story, but as they finished their drinks and watched the lights bounce off snowflakes in the moonlight, a creeping fear settled in. Would the truth be a blessing or a curse? As the Ferris wheel loomed ahead, he felt overwhelmed, the rising anticipation mixed with raw uncertainty. Freeing the truth could lead to more heartache than he was prepared for. Would he be able to carry that weight? Would Lucy and Ethan find comfort in the reality of their mother's choices, or would it break the little world they'd built together? With each turn of the wheel, riding higher and higher, the question lingered, could they handle whatever lay ahead? As the night sky wrapped around them, the thought of what awaited pushed him closer to the edge of his own reality. Would he find the strength to protect his children, or would the truth tear their happiness apart? Tom clutched the bar of the Ferris wheel car tightly as it ascended, a wave of nostalgia washing over him. He watched Lucy's eyes widen with wonder, the twinkling lights of the festival sparkling like stars in the night sky. Ethan, next to her, kept bouncing on the edge of his seat with uncontainable excitement, his laughter a sweet melody against the whirring of the machinery. Despite their joy, Tom couldn't escape the heaviness in his heart. It felt like a storm cloud hovering just above him, threatening to spill rain at any moment. He should have felt lighter up here, but there was a gravity pulling him down. Thoughts of Lucy and Ethan's future, of their mother, of a truth that could unravel everything he had worked to build. As they reached the top, the world spread out below them like a vibrant tapestry. For a split second, he forgot his worries and took in the view. Couples danced beneath the glowing lights, and children rushed through the snow, their laughter mingling with the cheerful music echoing from the booths. But then, Lucy's innocent question brought him back to the hard reality. Dad, can we really find Mom? What if she has forgotten us? Her voice was soft, tinged with a sincerity that pierced through his heart. Tom's chest tightened. Sweetheart, he started, searching for the right words, your mom, she loves you both more than anything. She never forgot you. He paused, feeling the weight of the truth press heavily against his lips, unsure how much to reveal. But why isn't she here? Didn't she want to see us? She asked, her doe-like eyes shimmering with a mixture of hope and sadness. Sometimes things happen that we don't understand, he managed, forcing a smile, but that doesn't mean she doesn't care. We'll figure this out together. I promise. Ethan, sensing the shift in mood, chimed in. Maybe that magician can help us find her. What if we wished really hard? His voice was full of earnestness, and it nearly broke Tom. Yeah, buddy. Maybe. But he couldn't shake the doubt crawling through his mind. Wishes weren't always enough. As the ride descended, Tom felt the land pressing back into reality. Uncertainty loomed larger than the Ferris wheel itself. What if Lucy's fairytale ideas of her mother didn't align with the truth? Would their hopes come crashing down? Once they stepped off, the kids raced toward the festival's lively games, pulling him along. He watched them, their laughter lifting the weight on his shoulders just a little. Tom! Jack called from the side, jogging to catch up. We've got leads on where she might be. A friend of mine, Jack. Let us focus back on the kids for now, Tom interrupted, his voice edged with worry. He didn't want to entertain the idea of leaving them in a situation he couldn't control. They were so blissfully unaware of everything waiting in the shadows. "All right, I get it." Jack held up his hands in surrender, his tone softening. "But we need to start digging. The sooner we do, the sooner we can protect them." Protect them. The expression echoed in Tom's mind. Whatever Jack was planning, the deeper they dived, the harder it would be to shield the children from whatever truth awaited. At that moment, a sudden chill swept through the air. Tom turned to see a woman standing just beyond the crowd, her silhouette partially obscured by swirling snowflakes. For a heartbeat, his heart raced, something in the way she held herself felt oddly familiar. "Tom, you all right?" Jack's concern pulled him back. He blinked, and the figure was gone, lost amidst the crowd. Was he imagining things? Or was it too soon for a reunion? With his internal chaos heightened, Tom took a deep breath, scanning the faces around him, searching for answers as the night thickened with questions. As laughter rang out around him, he felt this twist of fate was just the beginning. What if the truth he feared was closer than he thought? "Let us keep the magic alive tonight, okay?" he said, forcing a smile. But deep within, he knew the real heart of the night was lying in wait, ready to change everything. What if the woman he saw was more than just a figment of his imagination? And how deep could this twisted tale of love and loss truly run? The air was electric with excitement, the festival alive with sounds of laughter and music. Tom stood there, not completely present, his mind replaying the brief moment of recognition he felt when he saw the shadowy figure. Was it really her? The memory of Lucy's question loomed like a dark cloud, but it never fully sunk in. Wouldn't a simple answer ease his children's hearts? As the kids darted from booth to booth, their delight was contagious. Ethan was mesmerized by the carnival games, eyes glinting with determination. Lucy stomped through the snow, her cheeks dusted with pink, as she tried to catch snowflakes on her tongue. "Dad! Look!" Ethan shouted, tugging Tom's jacket, "I'm going to win that dinosaur." Tom smiled, masking his worries. "Go for it, buddy," he encouraged, allowing a moment of genuine joy to wash over him. While they played, Tom's mind raced. Jack had mentioned leads, and the thought of diving into that world filled him with dread. But the kids deserved more than whispers of shadows and unanswered questions. They deserved the truth, no matter how complicated it was. "Let us take a quick break," Tom called to the kids, who paused mid-leap. "Hot chocolate?" The suggestion brought a chorus of cheers, and together they found a small stand, frothy mugs warming their hands. As they sat at a makeshift table, sipping the creamy sweetness, Tom glanced around, secretly hoping to catch a glimpse of that mysterious woman again. His heart raced when he noticed a woman nearby, her head down, obscured by a wool hat. He fought the urge to approach her, trying not to fill his kids with false hopes. It was better to let the evening unfold naturally. "Dad," Lucy interrupted his thoughts, her expression serious for a child her age. "Do you think she is okay?" "Mom, I mean." Tom felt the heat of her words sting a bit. "I think she is trying to figure things out too," he replied carefully, not wanting to say too much. He couldn't bring himself to tell her that their mother's journey could be one of pain, anger, or regret. Ethan piped up, returning from what seemed like a serious contemplation. "We should send her a gift then. Something magical, so she knows we still love her." The child's enthusiasm was pure, simple, and it nearly brought tears to Tom's eyes. "That's a wonderful idea, buddy," Tom affirmed, heart swelling with admiration for his son's heart. "But we need to find out what she truly needs first, right? Maybe one day we'll know." Just then, a sudden burst of laughter caught his attention, drawing his gaze towards the center of the festival. A small stage featured a magician performing tricks that left the audience roaring with laughter and gasps of wonder. The kids were mesmerized, eyes wide as they laughed at the playful antics unfolding before them. Tom watched his children, and he realized they still held on to their dreams. Their joy acted like a lifeline, anchoring him even as doubts swirled like the snowstorm around them. Just then, a thought struck, piercing through the fog. What if the magician truly could help them? Let us go watch the show, he suggested, though his heart hesitated. What if magic existed among their darkest fears? The trio rushed towards the stage, laughter spilling from their lips as Tom tried to suppress his doubts. As they joined the crowd, the magician began revealing his next trick, a mysterious box that shimmered under the festival lights. What's in there? Ethan squeaked, eyes wide with anticipation. Maybe family secrets, Tom whispered to himself, the tension building in his chest, merging excitement with fear. Because maybe, just maybe, the woman he saw earlier was a clue, an omen, a sign that the truth was about to reveal itself. As the magician lifted the lid of the box, Tom felt his heart race. Was this the moment? Would they finally see a glimpse of the past? I would change everything. As the magician dramatically unveiled the contents of the shimmering box, gasps rippled through the crowd. Golden light spilled out, illuminating a mound of delicate objects, sparkling like stars. A hush fell, and the air was thick with anticipation. Tom glanced at Ethan and Lucy, both wide-eyed and leaning in, completely captivated. What is that? Lucy whispered, her voice barely audible over the murmurs around them. Tom strained to see, his heart pounding in sync with the anxious rhythm of the crowd. The magician began to lift out a collection of old trinkets, ornate keys, weathered letters, and shimmering stones that caught the light as he held them up one by one. There was a glimmer of something familiar in that glint. But just as recognition flickered, the magician paused, gauging the crowd's reaction. Every object has a story, he declared. A secret waiting to be revealed. Who's brave enough to uncover the magic hidden within? Ethan's little hand shot up, excitement bubbling over. Me. I want to hear the stories. His enthusiasm infected the nearby kids, who began clamoring to join in. Tom chuckled softly, his pulse still racing. You've always had the heart of a storyteller, buddy, he said, ruffling Ethan's hair. But beneath that fleeting cheer, a darkness loomed in his mind. What if the stories uncovered their deepest fears, rather than the comfort they sought? The magician smiled, choosing a small, ornate wooden box. This, he said, is filled with memories from long ago. Let us see who it belongs to. He turned, scanning the audience. His gaze landed on Tom. A chill ran through him. It felt personal, as if the magic show had suddenly spiraled into a deeper journey, one tied to his own secrets. The magician gestured for Tom to approach, and he hesitated. He looked at his children. Their faces were filled with optimism and hope, but would that shine dim with the truth he was ready to face? Dad, go. Lucy encouraged, her voice bubbling over with excitement. You can do it. With a deep breath, Tom stepped forward, each stride echoing the doubts battling in his heart. The magician held the box out, a glimmer of mischief in his eyes. Let us reveal what's inside. But be prepared, some truths are more magical than we expect. Tom took the box, its surface smooth and warm, radiating a strange comfort. He thought about Lucy's question earlier. Would he really be able to find the right words to make sense of everything? Would it clear the dark clouds looming over their family, or only bring more uncertainty? Open it. Ethan begged. Please. The weight of expectation pressed on him as he carefully lifted the lid. Within, nestled among faded photographs and snippets of yarn, lay a small, intricately designed locket. A familiar face stared back at him from the photograph. Tucked inside it, a younger version of the woman he'd seen at the festival, her smile as fresh as the winter snow. Tom's breath hitched. He felt a sudden rush of connection, like a bridge forming to a past he had long since tried to forget. His heart raced with possibility, but the questions only multiplied. What secrets did this locket hold? What memories whispered from the fabric of their shared history? As the crowd buzzed around him, Tom felt a profound sense of urgency. He had to know. But as he looked into Lucy and Ethan's eager faces, he sensed this moment could change everything. Just then, an unexpected voice rose from the audience. Tom. It was Jack, his old friend, bursting through the gathering crowd. You need to see this. It's about Lucy's mom. His heart sank as Jack stepped closer, urgency written on his face. Tom's grip on the locket tightened. Was this the moment everything unraveled, or started to make sense? The magician's words echoed in his ears, some truths are more magical than we expect. What was this magic leading them towards? Would it bring them closer to their mother, or tear them apart even more? An unnerving wave washed over him. With the locket in hand and Jack by his side, could he ever truly prepare for what came next? Tom's heart raced as he processed Jack's sudden appearance. The world around him faded, and all he could see was Jack's alarmed expression, the urgency dancing in his eyes. The magician's trinkets, the eager faces of his children, the playful music drifting through the fairgrounds, everything blurred into an indistinct haze. Tom, Jack said, urgency sharpening his voice. It's about Lucy's mom. I found something you need to know. The words hit Tom like a freight train. Lucy's mom was a topic they had danced around for years, an unspoken weight hanging heavy in the air. Tom's stomach twisted, part of him wondering if it was finally time to confront the truths he'd been avoiding. Could this locket, this moment, be the catalyst for everything he'd kept hidden? Here. Now. Tom's voice wavered. He glanced at Lucy and Ethan, who were squeezing their hands together, eyes wide with wonder. He didn't want to taint their excitement. Can it wait? Jack shook his head violently. It can't. You need to see this. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a small, folded paper. I saw it at the community center. It's a letter about the locket and your wife. You won't believe what it says. Tom felt his pulse quicken with a mix of fear and curiosity. He looked down at the locket, its golden sheen reflecting the excitement of the crowd, yet it now felt like a ticking clock counting down to an inevitable revelation. Maybe we should, he started, then paused, biting his lip. Just trust me, Jack urged, stepping closer. Please. Lucy and Ethan were bouncing on their feet, dragging the intensity back into the foreground. Dad, what is going on? Lucy's voice trembled with anticipation, while Ethan's innocence radiated pure curiosity. We'll find out together, kids, Tom finally said, his own insecurities fading momentarily in the face of their bright eyes. But I need you to promise to be brave. Ethan nodded vigorously, clutching the locket now. Lucy took her brother's hand. They were ready for the unknown. But what about Tom? His heart felt like a battlefield, torn between protecting their little world and revealing the truths that had lingered in the shadows far too long. Before he could spiral further, Tom nodded to Jack. Let us see the letter. Jack unfolded the paper, reading aloud. As the words rolled off his tongue, Tom's world shifted with every syllable. The letter spoke of loss, unfulfilled promises, and a connection that went deeper than he had ever imagined. It pulled at remnants of memories he wished to leave behind while simultaneously igniting a spark of hope. Your wife kept this locket for a reason, Tom, Jack said, his voice almost a whisper now, as he finished the letter. She believed one day it could bring you two back together. Tom closed his eyes, wrestling with the weight of the moment. Could this truly be the avenue to heal past wounds? To connect his children with their mother in a way he had never thought possible? Lucy tugged at his sleeve, her face all innocence. Dad, do you really think we can find Mommy? Her question pierced right through him. It felt raw and exposed, leaving nothing but vulnerability in its wake. Hadn't he always hidden behind the distractions of daily life, dreading this exact conversation? Tom took a deep breath, the locket still warm in his palm. I think we can, he managed to say, though the tremble in his voice betrayed his uncertainty. Jack nodded. We need to go, now. There's a chance to unravel the truth. Just then, the magician caught Tom's eye from across the fairground, a knowing smile crossing his lips. The air crackled with magic, the whole scene charged with possibility. Now, it was clear. This journey wasn't just about revisiting the past, it was a chance to create new memories, to rewrite their story. But as Tom prepared to delve back into these hidden mysteries, he couldn't shake the fear. Was he ready for whatever was about to unfold? With one last look at his children, he gathered his strength. Heart pounding, he made the decision. They would walk this path together. But as Jack led the way, whispers from the crowd washed over them, dark murmurs about the locket and its ties to old secrets. What awaited them at the end of this newfound journey? Could they truly face the magic hidden within, or would it unravel everything they tried to hold together? The air felt electric as Tom, Jack, Lucy, and Ethan weaved their way through the vibrant fairgrounds. The laughter and excitement of the festival surrounded them, yet a heavy silence hung over Tom's heart. Every fading smile and cheer melded into a distant murmur, drowning out the questions swirling in his mind. What were they about to uncover? Tom kept glancing down at Ethan, who was still clutching the locket like it was the most precious thing in the world. Lucy was close behind, her little face filled with a mixture of hope and apprehension. The way she held her brother's hand made him ache with the desire to shield them from pain, and yet, he knew it was time to confront the ghosts of their past. They reached the community center. Surprisingly quiet, it stood like a fortress of memories, its bright banners reminding Tom of celebrations he once enjoyed. Jack led them inside, the shifting shadows catching Tom's eyes. Each step echoed, amplifying the weight of what lay ahead. "Tom, this is it," Jack said, breaking the silence. His words were barely above a whisper. "The letter, it mentioned a woman who visited your wife shortly before she passed." Tom's stomach nodded. "What woman? Why didn't I know?" There weren't many who could keep up with her, but this one she seemed important. Jack looked back toward Lucy and Ethan. "I didn't realize until now, but she might have information. If we find her," a chill shot down Tom's spine. "What if she doesn't remember? Or worse, what if she does?" Jack interrupted, determination blazing in his gaze. "What if she has answers we've been searching for? It could change everything." Lucy squeezed her brother's hand tighter, unaware of the turmoil in her father's heart. "Dad, do you think this woman knows where Mommy is?" Tom knelt in front of the kids. "I'm not sure, sweetheart. But we have to try. For your mom." It was a promise that left a bitter taste. Was he really prepared for the truth? He stood back up, slowly finding resolve. This wasn't only about him anymore. It was about showing Lucy and Ethan that vulnerability could lead to healing. As they navigated deeper into the center, each room seemed to echo with laughter and memories of happier times, birthdays, holidays, an ordinary Tuesday that had turned special. It was unbearable to think of how much they'd lost, and how unaware they'd been of its emptiness. Soon, they found themselves in front of a door, worn edges framing a name tag that read Elizabeth. The air grew heavier. "Is this her?" Tom asked, his voice barely holding together. Jack nodded, pushing the door open cautiously. The room was dimly lit, and in the corner sat an older woman, her gray hair spilling over a colorful shawl. She looked up, surprise softening her features. "Can I help you?" she asked, her eyes scanning the crowd that had just entered. "Are you Elizabeth? You knew my wife, Laura." Tom spoke, his heart hammering in his chest. A flicker of recognition crossed Elizabeth's face, followed by a shadow of grief. "Oh, dear. Laura, yes. I remember her." Tom's breath stilled. He felt the heat of anticipation and despair battling inside him. "Do you know where she is? What happened?" Before Elizabeth could respond, the sound of Ethan sniffing softly broke the tension. Tom's heart twisted as he glanced down at his son, eyes wide and full of wonder. The little boy didn't understand the depths of their conversation yet, but Tom felt compelled to shield him from the harshness of reality. "Can you tell us?" Tom pressed, desperation cutting through him. Elizabeth hesitated. "It's not an easy story, Tom. Are you sure you want to hear it?" "More than anything," he replied, knowing there was no going back. But just as she opened her mouth to speak, a ruckus from outside erupted. A loud crash followed by a commotion drew Tom's attention, pulling him away from the conversation. His instincts kicked in, fear rising as he peered through the slightly ajar door. "Stay here," he ordered Jack, clutching Lucy and Ethan's shoulders. "I'll check it out." As he stepped outside, anxiety clawed at him. What did that crash mean? What if something was coming to threaten this fragile moment of truth? Tom's instincts screamed for him to act. As he gazed into the chaos unfolding around him, he couldn't help but ponder, was there more than one hidden truth waiting for him today? And at that very moment, he realized he could not shield his children from the world forever. He was stepping into a realm of uncertainty, a world where the answers to their past, and perhaps their future, waited just out of reach. With newfound determination, he turned back toward the door, ready to face whatever lay ahead. But as he tried to call out to Jack, a booming voice rang out, cutting through the noise with primal urgency. "You shouldn't have come here." What awaited him at this turning point? Could they discover both the truth and connection he yearned for, or would everything spiral out of control? Tom's heart slammed against his ribcage as a tense silence washed over the crowd, their collective breaths held in anticipation. The ominous voice echoed again, threatening, commanding. He turned back to Lucy and Ethan. Their innocent eyes clung to him, unaware of the danger curling through the air. Protective instincts kicked in, he would keep them safe, no matter what. "Stay close," he whispered, fingers tightening around their little hands. They stood there, bundled in their winter coats, the warmth of their innocence a shield against the looming shadows of reality. Tom stepped forward, ready to protect them. "What do you want?" he called out, his voice steady despite the storm raging within. Jack appeared at his side, urgency etched in his brow. "Tom, we need to leave. Now." But before either of them could move, the figure emerged from the chaos, a tall man cloaked in darkness. His demeanor exuded hostility, eyes like icy shards drilling into Tom. "You shouldn't have come back here," he growled, stepping closer. "And you are?" Tom spat back, a surge of bravery surging through him. The man smirked, shrugging off Tom's defiance. "Just a friend of Laura's past. She didn't want you to find out too many ghosts haunt these memories." Tom's chest tightened. "That's my wife you're talking about. Where is she?" A warning flickered in the man's eyes. "Don't push me, Tiger. The past has a way of catching up with us. If you dig around, you might not like what you uncover." Fear skated along Tom's spine, but he drew strength from his children, who stood clutching each other. "I'm not afraid of the past. I'm here for my kids and for her." With that declaration, the man stepped back, a calculating look crossing his face. "And you think you can bring her back? You hold the key, huh?" There was a pause, tension crackling like fireworks. The crowd murmured, drawn into the suspense. Every eye was on them, breath suspended. He noticed Lucy leaning closer, worry etched on her face, while Ethan held her tight. "Listen," Tom continued, grounding himself in the moment. "Whatever Laura went through, whatever you think you know, we deserve to hear the truth. My kids deserve the truth." At that, the man's demeanor shifted slightly. Maybe Tom's words pierced through the barricade built around his heart. "You think you're ready for that?" "I have to be," Tom affirmed, the weight of purpose pressing him forward. The man's expression softened, nostalgia twinkling in his eyes as he sighed. "All right, but know this, the truth can be both dangerous and liberating." With a quick nod, the mysterious man beckoned Tom and Jack to follow. "In here. You'll find more answers, but be ready. It won't be easy." As they stepped through the door, Tom felt his heart flutter uneasily. Lucy and Ethan stayed by his side, depending on him for guidance. The room inside was dimly lit, shadows hugging the edges, but there was a warmth that hummed beneath the surface, as if secrets long kept were beginning to awaken. "Sit," the man gestured towards a small table littered with photographs and scattered letters. The weight of the moment pressed heavily in the air around them. Tentatively, Tom nodded to Lucy and Ethan, guiding them to a nearby bench. "Remember, whatever we find, we're in this together," he urged softly. Their eyes twinkled with trust, a reminder of the belief they had in him, and that was enough to strengthen his resolve. As the man laid out a faded photograph of Laura, younger and vibrant, Tom felt nostalgia choke him. "She had dreams that would have taken her far away from this place," the man said. "But she also carried burdens, ones she never wanted you to shoulder." "Burden?" Tom echoed, his voice more of a plea than a question. The man nodded. "It was never a lack of love. It was about trying to protect you from the chaos of her past, the secrets she buried deep within." Tom's heart raced, memories racing back of a connection that had once filled him with warmth and love. But could that love resurface now, after everything that had happened? The man continued, "If you want to help her, you need to let go of the anger. Find forgiveness, Tom. Only then can the healing begin." Brethren of sorrow swirled in the air as Tom's mind spiraled, collapsing under the weight of it all. "But how do I forgive someone who left?" "By understanding," the man countered gently. "By realizing that not everything is black and white. The truth is a spectrum of colors. Open your heart, Tom. The magic of this journey lies in healing, not hurting." Caught in an emotional whirlwind, Tom felt Lucy's little hand squeeze his, a tether connecting him to hope. And in that moment, he realized this wasn't just about him anymore. It was about his family, about guidance through the storm to a place where they could embrace love again. "Together," Tom murmured, firming his resolve as he looked into his children's expectant faces. "Together, we will uncover what we need to." Jack nodded beside him, and they turned back to the enigmatic man. "Show us the way," Tom said, heart full, ready to undertake the challenge ahead. As the man began unveiling more truths, painting a picture of connection and resilience, Tom felt the past intertwining with a new beginning. Could the discovery of their mother's truth heal wounds, restore faith, and rise to the kind of magic that only family could create? There was a flicker of hope in the air, and as they prepared to face the journey before them, Tom felt a lift in his heart. They may have been haunted by ghosts of the past, but they were taking steps toward an undeniable truth. And that truth might just set them free. Now was the time to act. This is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe now to never miss exclusive stories like this. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. It makes all the difference. Comment below how you felt about this ending and what you think will happen next. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation.